ngayon, nais ko lang alamin, andito si Attorney Abad. Okay. At tumataginting po yung pangalan ninyo dito sa form na pinagmudmod sa buong bansa. Andito, we hereby authorize Attorney Anthony A. Abad et al. To cause the filing of the petition, perform all acts necessary in furtherance thereof. Are you the same Attorney Abad whose name appears on these signature sheets for the People's Initiative?
Yes, that's correct, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Madam Senator Marcos, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Go, and of course Senator Risa Ontiveros. Before anything else, I would like to apologize for my absence in the last hearing, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify and speak this morning.
Yes, matagal kang inantay pero at least nag-email ka naman. Kaya marami po kaming katanungan para sa iyo. Unang-una, sabi ni Mr. Oñate nung nakaraan, na bahagi ka ng pirma. Are you part of the PIRMA organization? Neither does your name appear in the SEC documents or any other papers that we have retrieved with regard to PIRMA. Do you confirm that you are part of PIRMA?
Actually, Madam Chair, I am not a member of PIRMA, but I am assisting as an advisor the groups that are signing this petition.
So you're disputing Mr. Oñate's claim in January 30 that you are part of PIRMA?
I'm really not part of PIRMA, not organizationally or a member of it. My role is really as an advisor on constitutional reform if this petition ever prospers.
When did you become part of this operation, if not PIRMA?
Okay, my background, no, I am a professor of international economic law at Ateneo, recently retired from the practice of law, and I had been a long-time advocate of constitutional reform. So I have been promoting constitutional reform and advocating it since the period of President Fidel Ramos. That's why I had occasion to work with Carmen, with Tita Chit Pedrosa,
And the rest of the PIRMA incorporators.
yes, but I've never joined them organically. But I have supported and I've always promoted constitutional reform.
Or perhaps is PIRMA your client? Are you engaged as a lawyer of PIRMA?
No, I'm not. I'm actually doing this on a voluntary basis. Madam Chair,
I'm just very curious, given your very nebulous and inchoate relation with PIRMA, why is it that yours is a single name that occurs in all these sheets?
well, what happened, Madam Chair?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. What happened, Madam Chair, is, I've been a long-time resource person for both houses. No? Here in the Senate, even with as recent as Senator Padilla's hearings, I appeared as well to promote constitutional reform. In the House, I worked closely with Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Late last year, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez asked me and invited me to assist and to help PIRMA and anyone else who is joining this People's Initiative for constitutional reform as an advisor. But I was supposed
Pero
to join.
Attorney Abad, sa dinami-dami ng mga pangalan na binanggit mo, at napakarami naman nila, nandyan yung Ghana Law Office, nandyan si Attorney Abisado, nariyan si Noel Oñate, di ba? Nandyan po kayo. Bakit yung pangalan mo ang pinili nila?
Ma'am, I think this is
Ikaw pa yung sinasabi mo, walang koneksyon. Hindi ka naman bahagi ng PIRMA. Ba't ka bida dito? Ikaw ang starring dito sa aming papel eh.
I've unexpectedly infamous for this, but Madam Chair, it's actually a curse of the alphabetical, my name being AAA. There are other petitioners.
Yes, could you name or mention some of the et al. That
Okay.
occur after your name? Sino-sino yung et al. That you say alphabetically succeed
Yes.
your AAA initials?
Well, alphabetically, you'd have former Congressman Argel Kabatbat of Magsasaka.
Mga kongresista yan. They're all congressmen.
Well, former congressman. There's, of course, former Congressman Garbin,
Okay.
Ed Gulye of CORE, Constitutional Reform Movement. This was
Okay.
recent organization or last 20,
Sila yung
early
et
20.
al.
Ito yung mga et al. And of course, Sir Noel Oñate, and former Justice Veloso, Ching Veloso. I understand there will be more, but these are the names that I am familiar with.
Pero, as an accident of your name, you're saying you are the single name mentioned in full?
Yes, it happened that the signature form came out with only one name, which is mine, and just an et al.
Yes, it's just problematic to me because I actually have the transcript of Mr. Oñate's testimony during the last hearing, during which he said, si Anthony Abad ay kasama namin sa professional sector ng pirma. Ang pirma ay maraming components. Merong farmer, professional, etc. Si Anthony Abad ay isa sa mga volunteers sa aming professional sector. Tama po ba yun?
Perhaps Mr. Oñate can explain. I'm not organic or a full-time member of
Okay.
PIRMA, but I am assisting as a lawyer and as an economist.
So you know Attorney Garbin, the former congressman?
Yes.
And you're also familiar with Attorney Garbin's participation in PIRMA. Kasama kayo sa PIRMA.
Yes.
And together with other former congressmen and justices, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
So you share the advocacy of PIRMA in pushing for the joint voting by the House and the Senate in the event of a constituent assembly?
Yes, that's correct.
Joint voting and not separate voting?
No, because I look at constituent assembly as a single body.
Right. But
Madam Chair.
you will note that your name is also attached, voting jointly at the call of the Senate President or the Speaker, hence in violation of the bicameral nature of our government. Is that something you abide by?
My opinion, Madam Chair, is that when the heads of the houses call for the constituent assembly and
It's an
created...
or, sir. We all went to law school and the ends and ors were very important. It's an or. A single house can actually call
Yes.
for this con-as.
Madam Chair,
I stand corrected, ma'am.
Yes, Senator
I
Risa.
apologize, Madam Chair, but just to check, I think Attorney Abad has not been placed under oath yet. Thank you,
That's
Madam
correct.
Chair.
I've failed to ask the committee secretary to, yes, can we please require them to take the oath? Yes, Attorney Abad, please take the oath. I forgot. Sorry, and that will be for everyone that we've called upon. Sorry.
To those who were not able to take an oath during the previous hearings, kindly stand. For the rest who have taken a note, this is a continuing hearing, so your oath still stands. So those who are new to this hearing, kindly stand and raise your right hand. Okay. Kindly repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding. Thank you very much. You may sit down.
Yes, thank you very much. Let's proceed. I am still perplexed, Attorney Abad, because you have here very clearly your name in bold letters, indicating that you share the advocacy of a unicameral voting for the Constitutional Assembly. Was this something that you were aware of?
Yes, ma'am. It's well, from an academic point of view, I know that the 1987 Constitution does have certain vagueness, and we were looking at...
I think it's quite specific with regard to voting. There's no vagueness at all.
Well, we were looking at this People's Initiative as an opportunity to clarify this matter.
Okay, so that it was your stand that the Constitution should be changed into a unicameral body, a National Assembly, as originally debated long ago.
No, ma'am.
But this
It-
is
No, but-
the paper
No, the
on
con-
which your name is affixed.
Yes, ma'am, but no, it's not about, it's the Constituent Assembly is unicameral. The Congress or the Parliament or the legislature can be bicameral or can
With
be
all due
unicameral.
respect, you put your name to an amendment that states 3/4 vote of all its members voting jointly, okay? And secondly, at the call of the Senate President or the Speaker. So on 2 counts, it's clearly unicameral. Is that your stand? I'm not going to fault you for it. I just want to make sure that we understand what we're talking about.
My stand, ma'am, is that the Constituent Assembly is unicameral, not the Congress. I'm not advocating a unicameral Congress or Assembly.
But in the case of a change of the Constitution, a single House can call for the vote. Surely you're invoking the establishment of a unicameral assembly.
Yes, it's the same people.
Hindi naman kailangan yung Senado dito, di ba, maliwanag? Gusto ko lang iklaro kung ano talaga yung pakay ninyo rito kasi nalilito po kami. Kasi ngayon sinasabi mo, pang-con-as lang yan. Eh sa Ligang Batas yan, babaguhin mo. Yung ordinaryong batas, papaltan nga lang yung pangalan ng kalsada. Eh talagang BICAM kami ng BICAM. Eh para dito, para sa konstitusyon, kanya-kanyang kabig, okay na.
Madam Chair, what is of paramount importance to me is the constitutional reform. I can see and I understand now. I can see how divisive and how
Are you saying you
counterproductive.
allow them to put your name on this without full knowledge of what you were signing?
No, ma'am. I understood.
You understood?
Yes.
And you understood that, in fact, this was a way to evade, avoid, disenfranchise, abolish, in fact, the Senate.
No, ma'am. In fact, personally, I don't think that the Senate should be abolished. I think there should be an upper house.
Eh, ba't mo pinirman to? Nagtataka
No.
lang ako kasi yung mga abogadong kulit-kulit, hindi ba ang turo natin sa law school, talaga isa-isahin mo yan.
Ma'am,
Eh, nagtataka nga ngayon, kaya pala ng speaker, mag-isa, magtatawag siya ng CONAS.
With all due respect, ma'am,
Wala namang alam yung senador, wala rin yung Senate President. Pwede niyang patakbuhin. Tama po ba yun? Parang nalilito ako sa iyo eh.
No, ma'am. The Congress is bicameral. The Constituent Assembly, which gathers as a constitutional amendment body, is unicameral. It has a different legal
So you're saying that the
identity.
mere law to change a little road somewhere far away requires constant debate and discussion and finally consensus between the 2 houses, but a major change in the Constitution can be called by a single house. Wala, nalilito lang ako kasi ikaw ang nakapangalan dito eh, kaya kailangan panindigan mo.
But that's correct, Madam Chair. But you see, it's
What's correct po? Na
That-
pwedeng paltan yung saligang batas, kanya-kanyang kabig na kung gusto ng mga congressman, kung gusto ng senator, o di paltan nila kahit kailan.
no, it's the constitutional, of course, a constitutional assembly, a constituent assembly, as acting as a constitutional amendment body, of course, has to be subject to scrutiny, and eventually it will require plebiscite or referendum, depending on what comes out of this constituent assembly. It is just that currently,
With all due respect, since you're a constitutional advocate, parang dapat i-clarify natin. In any case, let's put that aside. It's obvious that this form attached your name without full information on your part on the implications of this proposition. Would that be an accurate statement?
my work should have come in only when the petition, if the petition prospered. I was supposed to be an advisor.
So
on
hindi ninyo
constitution.
alam yung nakasulat dito?
Oh, no. I knew, ma'am. I knew what I
You
was...
knew?
Yes.
Yes, but right now you don't know. Sabi mo, hindi ka sigurado kung ganun talaga.
No.
Kasi gusto mo na ngayon bycam.
No.
Nakasaad dito, unicameral voting, unicameral call for a CONAS. Let's please make up our minds.
Ma'am, a constituent assembly, although they are the same people who are in the Congress, is actually a different legal body for the purpose
No,
of...
we fully understand that. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this form because it is your name that appears here. And I assume that you abide by all the statements that are contained in this sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, kalarin natin for the record. Yung alam namin yan, we fully understand na a constituent assembly is a separate body. We will be wearing another hat pag mag-form tayo ng constituent assembly. Pero yung point ng chairman is that klaruhin mo yung stand mo about voting jointly or separately. Yan lang gusto namin. From your end, yung ba talagang gusto mo na voting jointly, na kaming 24 at silang 316, isang count lang ng boto namin?
That's correct, sir.
That's correct. So that's your, yan ang gusto mo. Kaya ikaw ang nag-spearhead dito na ma-amend ditong section 1 ng Article 17 via People's Initiative. So ganun ang gusto mo talaga. Just for the record.
For the record, I wouldn't say...
I think just to help things along, there were statements from Pirma, I'm not certain if it was Mr. Oñate, that alleged similarly that since the Senate was a constant roadblock to constitutional change, they wanted to have the two houses vote jointly para malusaw nga yung boto ng Senado. Tama po ba yun? Yun ba yung tamang idea sa likuran nitong papel na to? Okay lang, kasi wala lang sa amin. Total, puro proposal naman to eh.
Well, it's not to dilute the Senate's role. It's just that to clarify how you vote within a constituent assembly. That's my understanding.
But it's not merely...
I-clarify mo, tapos i-amend mo na kagad ang konstitusyon. Yung palang
no.
clarification na gusto mo.
Oh, because it lacks clarity. We need to clarify.
No,
That's
but
my
I think it's very clear also at the call of only one of the House leaders, there's nothing that says that it has to be bicameral. Okay din sa iyo yon na only one House. Yung Congress, kanya-kanyang palit. Congress will change the Constitution on its own. The Senate as well. Is that what you had in mind?
Could you repeat that, ma'am?
Well, ang liwanag dito, at the call of the Senate President
Yes.
or at the call of the Speaker of the House. So, kanya-kanyang tawag, kanya-kanyang palit ng saligang batas. Bahala na kung anong lumabas. Okay lang pag hindi nagkatugma-tugma yung dalawa.
Well, Madam Chair, I'm not familiar with the work in how Congress works, but I would imagine that it would require still some consensus. that
You
would
have
be-
your name here. And you're not clear on what the language was?
No, ma'am. It's clear.
Just said it's unclear how Congress works.
No, I'm just saying that I would imagine that when you call, whether you're Senate President or the House Speaker, it would still require a building of consensus within these houses. No? Well, I don't know if...
We can go to that later. I
Yes.
think you've certainly not answered all the questions. You've definitely raised my level of confusion. In any case, let's go back to Pirma and revert to that. Do you know Attorney Garbin? Sabi mo kasali siya dun sa mga et al na sana lumabas din kasama mo.
Yes.
Okay, so you're part of Project PI. That's correct. Because you were helping them. You said you were in an advisory role.
Yes, that's correct.
So you also know Attorney Red Tuason?
No, I don't know Attorney Red Tuason.
I see. But Mr. Oñate said that he was the prime organizer.
Yes, I am not I have now no involvement in the signature campaign, ma'am. So I don't know the people who are in the operations part.
You have no involvement, but you are the single name on the signature sheet.
That's correct, ma'am. As I explained, because of the alphabetical order of the petitioners, my name was put at the top of the list.
Mr. Oñate already admitted that he sought the help of Speaker Romualdez, whom he described as the CEO of the Congress. I think that is correct. Did you also meet with Speaker Romualdez?
I met him also.
Yes, was it to do with Project PI?
I just accompanied Mr. Oñate and Kong Rufus, and well, he just thanked me for participating.
Could you tell us when this occurred?
In December.
He, Attorney Jokno has reminded us that the people's initiative should derive from the people. Did it not occur to you or to the rest that this had become a politician's initiative and not one that derived from the masses, the people, the citizenry?
No, my understanding, because I had been introduced to Mr. Oñate and the other petitioners, that they would be representing people's organizations nationwide. That's my understanding.
Okay, did you coordinate with Saldico, another congressman, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee?
No, ma'am.
He usually accompanies the speaker?
No, I haven't. I have not had.
Did you coordinate with any other congressman?
No, ma'am.
Because Mr. Oñate has repeatedly admitted to coordinating with congressmen, given that PIRMA did not have the wherewithal, certainly not the organizational scope and reach that the congressmen had. Did you coordinate with the other congressmen?
No, I did not, ma'am, Madam Chair.
Do you know the group called Change Philippines that Senator Bato and myself called upon in Davao?
Change Philippines? No, ma'am. I'm not familiar.
So the signature collection by Change Philippines and other groups was not authorized by you. Clearly, you didn't authorize them. You didn't even know them.
Only PIRMA. Only those who appeared as the petitioners. No? At the ground level, I was not able to meet with these other organizations.
If you didn't know them, why were they authorized to collect signatures on your behalf to file a PI petition?
Again, ma'am, I agreed to be a petitioner. My name came out alphabetically in the list of petitioners, and that's why it ended up on the signature sheet.
You're a law professor. You know very well that in order for any authorization to be valid, there must be agreement between the person giving the authorization and the person being vested with authority, correct?
Correct, Madam Chair.
That being the case, how did you provide authorization for all these groups, such as Change Philippines, that you've never met, have not been informed about, and certainly did not authorize to use your name?
I just agreed to be part of that list, and that was my agreement to be part as a petitioner. And again, I ended up being the top of the list.
Your name appears in all those PI sheets, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Do you know who drafted the signature sheets?
Congressman Garbin.
With your full
And of course,
authority, is that correct?
And the PIRMA group.
We're so unclear now about PIRMA. Perhaps you can give us a personal name? Sino po nag-draft nito? Kasi kayo ang nakalantad dyan eh.
Kayo. The PIRMA.